All right, Josh Johnson here. We are going to get started momentarily. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Hit the little bell thing and you'll get notifications when I go live as well. If you're watching on Facebook, please like or share this video so that we can reach the maximum number of people. Because that's the name of the game here. We want to try to give good weather intel to as many people as is humanly possible. So with no further ado, I am Josh Johnson. Let's talk weather. And there's a lot to talk about. It's snowing in Alabama. In fact, don't just take my word for it. I'll show you. In fact, I'm going to show you a lot of things today. We're going to talk about the snow. We're going to talk about the cold. We're going to talk about, well, quite frankly, both. So we will begin with a look out the window here. This is Troy. Look at this. Some light snow falling there. This is the Alabama Department of Transportation camera near the Motel 6 in Troy, and you can make out some snow to be found there. That would be along U.S. Highway 231 down in Pike County. Now, if you want to see the real deal, check this out. This is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, where they have about 8 inches of snow at Dollywood, and it is still coming down. So snow is falling now in many, many places, not just here in central Alabama. We're dealing with it on a very minor level. They're dealing with it on a very major level in places like Charlotte, Greenville, South Carolina, Clemson, much of North Georgia, getting a pretty healthy snow out of this. For us at home, we are tracking kind of the leftovers at this point. I'll show you this. This is radar, using radar scope to kind of track this here. So you've got some snow flurries and snow showers down here. The heaviest of it would be down in southern Montgomery County, and then back into northern Pike. So I'm gonna move some stuff around here so you can do a little track and live for you here. So anywhere on this map where you see this darker green, those are some pretty intense little corridors of snow there. Back into parts of Bullitt County. Not out of the question that the ground could turn kind of that frosty gray in some of these places where you're seeing this heavier snow. Then another few little snow showers, one up near, look at that, Slap Out. How about that? Kind of on the yeah, right over Slap Out, really. So the greater metropolitan Slap Out, Alabama area getting some snow this morning. And then back down to the south, some snow flurries and showers south into Prattville, up along Wears Ferry Road in Montgomery County. And then the heavier snow in Montgomery County is now in the eastern and southern sections. I'll animate this. And these are kind of streaming towards the south pretty quick. So these Troy cameras are going to be interesting to watch here over the course of the next 30 minutes or so as this heavier snow band moves on in. I do hope you'll forgive me for a little coffee indulgence. By the way, today's coffee mug really tells the story, doesn't it? Snoopy. Snoopy is bundled up. I'll make that full screen so you can see it. But yeah, this is the coffee mug of choice today. We are rolling with bundled up Snoop. Yes, this is a Christmas mug. No, it is not Christmas. I know, I get it. But by the way, I've got some helpers today. Hello, Champ and Lucy. Lucy, attentive, ready to help. Champ, taking a nap. That is, everyone is living their brand there, and now Lucy's decided she needs to really help. Are you a helping dog? I think you are. What do you think? Where's the snow going? Where's the snow going, pretty girl? I know. You're very sweet. So if you ever wanted to know what my setup looks like, now you know. I got a double screen computer here, iPad. There's the camera right up there, which is actually an iPhone with a ring light. So a little behind the scenes for you because we like that kind of thing. Let's get back into storm tracking mode here, or in this case, snow tracking mode. We're in the snow track zone. I'll keep hopping back and forth between radar. That heaviest band now, like I said, coming now into Pike, Bullock, southeastern and eastern Barber. So if you live at Clayton, Louisville, Clio, the ground could get that frosty color. This is not going to be something that causes widespread bridge icing or anything like that. We're looking at here with just, it's some snow. You'll see it flying. From an accumulation standpoint, it doesn't do much. Here's Troy. Again, this vantage point is the US 231 corridor near the Motel 6 in Troy. So you see there, the snow is flying. Let's walk you around Pike County here. Take you back closer to, this is near Murphy Street in Troy. It's a little lighter there. The snow is heaviest up on that northern end, that north end of town. Here's sort of right in the middle of things. And yeah, there's some snow flying. there in Troy. And it's about to get heavier. The heaviest of it is just north of downtown Troy right now. So we'll kind of maintain this. I think this camera probably gets us into the best bit of it there. So there you have it. Snowing a little there. I want to keep showing you this just because I'm fascinated by it. Snowing a lot in the Smoky Mountains. This is where I would be, by the way. If I was retired tomorrow, I would be up in a cabin drinking this coffee. And I'd probably still be live with you guys because I enjoy that sort of thing. But up here, the Smoky Mountains, just getting a really nice showing with this. I think some of those higher peaks in the Smokies will go up over a foot, maybe a foot and a half. So that's the view in Troy. We'll, again, just kind of pop it back and forth here between the radar and what we're seeing at ground level. So area wide here, you'll notice we talked about this a lot leading up to this. If you live anywhere outside of this box, you're saying, Josh, what are you talking about? It's not snowing at all. Most of West Alabama is dry. Most of East Alabama is dry. But there's kind of this skinny corridor down through Coosa, Elmore, parts of Autauga, Montgomery, western Macon, western and southern Bullock, Pike, northern Crenshaw, that's getting a decent little, I hesitate to even call this a dusting. This is just kind of enough snow to look at for a little while. I am really interested to see this camera over the course of the next few minutes as that heavier band comes into Troy, right? Because we'll zoom you in. This is marching right down Highway 231 in the Pike. So snowing and snowing pretty hard in this band. The heaviest of it now coming close to the Pioneer Museum. That would be on the north end of Troy, up towards Lockheed Martin, the Orion community, the barbecue house there on 231, and then back into South Montgomery County, snowing at a good clip now, just north of Highland Home, kind of between Highland Home and Raymer. Some decent little snow shower to be found there. Again, for most of you, it's either snowing very lightly or not snowing at all. But there are spots where it's snowing a little harder. And this is one of them that you're looking at now. This is, again, the view. This is our ALDOT camera in Troy, looking back down at US Highway 231. You'll notice there's nothing laying on the grass. There's nothing laying on the roads. This is just snow that is falling. Let me do this real quick. We'll check on surface temperatures around the state. I would imagine we're all pretty comfortably below freezing at this point. And by that, I really mean uncomfortably below freezing at this point. It's not the lack of cold that's limiting this thing. It is the lack of moisture. There's just not a lot of moisture. We've got plenty of lift. We have plenty of cold. We don't have a lot of moisture. Those are the three main ingredients for snow. You need lift, you need moisture, you need cold air from the cloud all the way down to the ground. And right now we have a couple of those. We have the cloud all the way to the ground part covered. It is cold enough. Just not a lot of moisture. Anniston reporting light snow at 22. Troy is at 28 degrees right now. So yeah, it's not a lack of cold. Tuskegee is at 29. Montgomery is at 29 with a gust to 29 miles an hour at Montgomery Regional Airport in the last hour. The wind chill is 16 at Montgomery. The wind chill is 12 at Alex City. By the way, I need to have a little conversation with some of y'all, man. I got called an MFer, and I got called a dumb A, and I got called a bunch of names for telling you that it was going to be cold today because it was warm yesterday. Stop doing that. That's not cool, man. By the way, here's a challenge. Anyone who called me a name yesterday because I said it was going to be cold today, I want you to go outside in shorts and your skimpiest t-shirt and record a video and say, you know what, Josh, you were right. And if you do that and send it to me, I will share it, one. And two, I will donate $100 to any charity you pick. It can't be you, right? That's not the charity. But pick a reputable charity, and I'll throw $100 at it. Just because I'd love to watch you eat some crow. Because that would be fun for me. Because I don't have any feelings left, really. But no one likes being called a dumb A or an MF or any of those things. So that's my challenge. And you know who you are. If you called me names yesterday because we said it was going to be cold today, I want you to go outside in some shorts, or better yet, some swim trunks. Go outside in some swim trunks and a t-shirt, and tell me I was right, and video it and send it to me. And I'll give $100 to the charity of your choice, and I'll put you on my Facebook page and make you local famous. Deal or no deal? Probably no deal. Probably won't hear a word about that. But um, here are the surface readings from around the state. We'll just kind of dive through these together here. Alexander City, 25 with a wind chill of 12. Trying to find the southernmost single-digit wind chill. Gainesville, that's a contender. That's in Sumter County. Wind chill is 7. The wind chill in Haleyville, Alabama right now is 0. How about that? It's 10 at Adiana. 9 at Sylacauga, 9 at Tuscaloosa. So most of the wind chills in our part of the world now are in the double digits anyway, but barely. Auburn is at 17. Alex City is at 12. Montgomery, the wind chill is 17 with a temperature of 29. So yeah, this was very much a not fun scenario. Let's go back to the camera here. This is Troy, looking at US 231 there at Motel 6. Let me drink a little coffee while we have this conversation. So it is. It's still. I would say it's still light snow. You can still see pretty well. The cars as they pass there, it looks like the can't tell. Can't tell if they have their headlights on or not. Initially, I thought they did, but maybe not. But no one's driving like there's anything on the roads, which means there's probably nothing on the roads, right? So that's the camera that we have there. Let's pop over to radar here. This will show. This is where we're kind of tracking this thing. So band of moderate snow now coming into downtown Troy, Banks, Brundage, Josie, Sandfield, and then back to the north up into parts of Crenshaw County, mainly the far northern sections up near Highland Home, and then some additional snow showers coming back into western Bullock and eastern Montgomery County. That camera looks good. Let me pop back over to that. This is, again, the AlDOT camera there in Troy. This is US 231 at Motel 6, where the snow is beginning to pick up a little bit. That makes sense. Let's go camera surfing here. We'll pop over to Murphy Street. This is kind of more into Troy proper. And yeah, same thing there. It's snowing at a pretty good clip. This is the view down in Pike County. You're watching it snow live via our AlDOT cameras there. It looks like it's coming down pretty good there in Pike County. That's a pretty heavy little snow shower. Roads look fine. Remember, the pavement's still warm from yesterday, and temperatures are below freezing, but you know, the ground holds in heat pretty effectively. So a lot of this may melt. Now, the concern would be, does it melt and refreeze? The good news is this snow specifically is extremely dry snow. So that means if you were to pick up some of this snow and hold it in your hand, most of it's just air. This is not the clumpy, heavy, wet snow that we often see. Sorry, someone called. I will call you back. How about that? Let's go back to the radar here. Back to the north, couple of snow showers, flurries, if you want to call it that. Elmore back into up near Deatsville. See that? Coming up Highway 143, a little light snow. That'll come down across Highway 14 around Elmore, very close to the airport there between Wetumpka and Cusata. A couple of snow showers out near Maxwell Air Force Base. But this is the good look here into Troy. And I can't tell, but it almost looks like some of these the seams in the concrete here maybe getting a little bit that gray frosty look. We talked about that leading into this, that I thought that could happen, where we would have these kind of little patchy areas of gray. Would the ground turn white? No, but you know, we would at least see some patchy areas of gray. And in the weather world, we call that kind of a coating, a dusting, a trace, whatever. And I think we're seeing that now. And if you look on the camera here, back up over here, that's grass, and it does have kind of that gray look to it. So I do think we're verifying the idea of a light dusting there coming into Troy, and that's a healthy little snow shower coming in there now. Let's hop around and check out some of these other cameras. Here's US 231 at Walter Street in Troy. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, the ground definitely dusted now in Troy. Check this out. This is cool. I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit. So this is the view in Troy, where it is snowing and snowing hard. This is some of the heaviest snow. that we've seen so far. And yeah, absolutely, the ground has that sort of gray shade to it. And you know, with the way radar looks right now, Troy may end up being kind of the big winner in this thing. I think parts of Pike County could pick up a quarter inch or so, at least enough to where the ground turns more white than gray. Now, remember, this is the overwhelming exception, right? So 99% of you are seeing none of the above, right? We've got a heavy little snow shower out here in Bullock. We got a little cluster of snow showers here in Pike, South Montgomery, and northeastern Crenshaw, and that's it. As far as snow that will fall and kind of turn the ground some kind of color. Everywhere else, like at my house in Prattville, at everywhere else outside of those circled areas, it's just flurries at best. Most of you just not even really seeing that. So check out this Walter Street camera. This is in Troy, and boy, it's really coming down there. So snow flurries in many places. One or two spots get a quick burst of snow that turns the ground grayish white. That was the forecast going into this, and so far so good. Look, when it comes to snow in Alabama, you are always 15 minutes away from the biggest surprise of your career. That's free advice to any meteorologist watching this who predict deep southeast winter storms. You are always 15 minutes away from the biggest surprise of your career, because these things have a mind of their own. But all that to say, I love it when they behave. It is a nice feeling when you've poured over the data and spent all these hours working on it, and it works out pretty well there. Let's go camera surfing again. The heaviest of the snow now is coming into Troy. The ground is turning kind of shades of gray here. So far, the roads look fine. That's the view. This is 3 Notch Street. So this would be kind of right there in the middle of Troy. There's Circle K. And it's snowing sideways. This is a wind-driven snow that is falling here in Pike County. Snowing pretty hard. Now, what we'll be looking for on these cameras is, do we see any scenarios where you start to see the snow stick a little bit? Do you start to see the roads get a little more slippery? And it does look like that. If you look carefully at the camera there, almost like a little rut right there, right? I mean, obviously, the snow's not deep enough to really call it a rut per se, but a little bit of a wheel shadow there. The other telltale giveaway will be when people, and I say this, maybe I shouldn't, if people start driving really slowly in Pike County, that would be a telltale sign, right? That we've got a little snow falling on the ground here. So you would hope they would. Now, you and I both know, and I hate to break your bubble if you don't know, there's a very real chance that some people might not drive so smart on this. Did y'all know that? There's a very real chance that some of them don't drive so smart really anytime. So maybe using the way people drive as my proxy to determine if it's laying on the roads, that might not have been my best idea. No, I'm joking. I see people with headlights on. That tells you that it is snowing pretty hard. Again, this is the vantage point down in Troy. This is US 231 at 3 Notch Street. We'll head back up to, let's do George Wallace Drive. That would be the road kind of popping back over to Troy University. Same thing there. The grass is turning white in Troy. And yeah, I mean, it's snowing pretty well down here. Radar shows it. We're able to track it for you pretty cleanly here. You'll notice the heavier band now coming into downtown Troy as we speak. This, if you live in Troy and you're watching it snow outside and kind of watching this live while we do it, this is about the heaviest it's going to be. There's also some kind of moderate snow back here. Some of that will clip kind of these western sides of Troy too. So someone out here that gets both of these bands could end up with, I think, a quarter inch or so, half inch of snow of accumulation. It's not going to be a huge deal, but it's something. And then this is interesting over here. This is in Bullock County. That is a really intense little snowburst there in the western part of that county. That would be out near Hector and Shopton, just south of Fitzpatrick in Bullock County along US Highway 82. Snowing pretty well there, too. So if anyone's in Bullock County, in the western part of the county, west of Union Springs, I'd love to hear from you as far as what you're seeing. You can, the comments on Facebook or YouTube, I can see those using the setup here. So Um, snow in Banks. My sister sent you a video of my brother-in-law building an imaginary snowman in Montgomery. That's pretty good. Um, polar bear plunges at 9 a.m. Hey, pups. How we doing? The magnificent weather dogs are down here helping. Helping here is a really loose term. Yeah, they're making noise. The magnificent weather dogs are down here making noise because I'm not giving them enough attention. So I will show you what I'm looking at. This is the view from my house right now. Is these two hoodlums? Yeah, that's you, Big Daddy. Yeah, that's a good boy. That's a very good boy. This is Champ, by the way, if you guys haven't met them. This is Miss Lucy. She is so sweet in a total terrorist kind of way. See, she's very bashful. Hey there, how we doing? You gonna help? Where's the snow going, Lucy? You have any thoughts? Um, she's a little bit of a terrorist, not gonna lie. And I'll tell you guys this. This is one of those you probably wouldn't say on TV, but our nickname for her is, or my nickname for her, I don't want to put this on my family because it's me being this way, is Lusama bin Laden because she has some terrorist tendencies, don't you? You're very sweet, though. You're a good girl. So, anyway, the weather dogs are not necessarily helping track a lot of the snow, but they're keeping me company anyway. Snowing now in Pike County. If you're just joining us, it's actually snowing pretty hard in Pike and Bullock counties right now. Radar shows it pretty well. Everyone else, the snow is either totally inconsequential or not falling at all. But in Pike and Bullock, we are starting to see the grass turn kind of that shade of gray here. And, I wouldn't be totally surprised. Here's the problem we face. Temperatures today don't go up at all. So any type of moisture that's on the road surface right now is going to freeze if it stays there long enough. Now, the good news is this is a very dry snow. It doesn't have a lot of moisture in it. So with any luck, perhaps it will evaporate before it has a chance to freeze. But if it lays there long enough, it is inevitably going to freeze because the temperature is in the upper 20s, and this is just kind of a raw, cold go of it, right? So eventually that's what would happen here. Let me pop you back to Troy. This is U.S. Highway 231 at George Wallace Drive. What are we doing over there, pups? What you got going? Oh, anyway, they knocked something over. I'll investigate it later. Troy, it is snowing now. It's snowing now across most of Pike County. If you have any reports, let me know. Now, if you're in Troy and it's snowing hard like this, what I really need to know is what's happening on the road surface. Is it staying dry? Is the snow just kind of blowing around? Is the snow falling and hitting the pavement and melting? Is the snow falling and hitting the pavement and sort of sticking as is? Just if you're in Troy or you're in Pike County, please let me know what's happening with the roads. You guys are kind of my eyes and ears. We've got all the great tools, but the reality is, knowing what's happening physically when that chunk of snow hits the pavement is of great use to us. Notice, though, these snow bands are small. This is on the north end of Troy, and look, the snow has already kind of wound down here. It's really heaviest farther south, so we'll just sort of track it south as it goes. The Walmart and Lowe's are on the south end of Troy. That's probably a pretty good shot. Yeah. Notice the grass turning kind of that frosty gray. This is exactly as advertised. The only thing we couldn't tell you is exactly where this would happen, right? If you watched any of the stuff leading calls. So that's the road. I use my phone to drive all of this, by the way. I'll give you guys a tour of kind of the streaming setup that I built here. But if you watched any of our stuff leading into this, that was the idea, is that, some of you will see some snow flurries, many of you. There could be a few narrow corridors where the ground turns kind of this frosty, you get a little dusting, right? It's not snowman snow, but it could still be impactful. So that's what we're seeing now. The only thing we couldn't tell you is where does that happen? Some of the models had it west of Montgomery. The pattern told us it's east, right? When you've got a big closed 500 millibar low where this one went, the pattern just screams East Alabama. And that's more or less how it's played out. I still think there's a window for some of you like Lee, Tallapoosa, Chambers. I think you could get in on a little bit of snow flurry action later in the day. With some of this maybe back building in from Georgia a little bit. That'll be a 50-50 proposition, but it is something that we've got our eye on. I'll go to the Fort Rucker radar. That will probably give me a little better look in here. Sorry, I'm doing a little tracking. So there's your pocket of moderate snow now falling over Pike County. The ground is turning white. This is not totally unexpected. This was sort of what I thought would happen. There would be one or two of these little pockets where you get into this. The good news, it's moving very rapidly. And again, if you're in Troy, let me know kind of what the roads are doing. Casey says, I'm just outside Troy. My yard has way more snow than there at Lowe's. Yeah, I believe that. Send me some photos of the snow. Send me some videos in it too. It's melting on the roads in Troy. That's from Eunice. Ground turning gray in Brundage. Sunny in Opelika. Yeah, the sun will come out eventually. And that's about our best chance of getting above freezing is if the sun will come on out, and maybe we'll pop up to 31 or 32. But this is going to be a big problem. So if there's the cold is going to be the big problem in this. If the roads are wet in Troy, then what we need to happen now very quickly is that needs to evaporate or it's going to freeze. The thing that's going to help us here, man, it's snowing hard. Let me pop back over to the camera here because I want to show you guys this. This is really snowing pretty hard in Troy. This is on the south side of Troy down by Walmart and Lowe's. This will be across the street sort of from Pike Lib, just down the street from the hospital on the other side of the highway. Good looking shot here. This is again the ALGO camera, the Alabama Department of Transportation camera in Troy, where we are tracking some pretty good snow now. I will go and see what our camera looks like. We've got one on the campus of Troy University. And yeah, the grass is white there. Let me show you that too. So this is our ASC Credit Union camera network, and you can see a little dusting of snow. How about this? This is the second time this winter that the grass has turned some shade of gray or white in Troy because of some snow. We had some a couple of weeks ago. We have some now. So it is snowing pretty hard there in the Troy area. Most of the rest of us, it's not. This is moving southeast very quickly, by the way. So get out and enjoy this while you can. I would not advise going to drive to enjoy it. I'm talking to the people that it's happening for. I do think there is the potential for isolated slick spots to develop in Pike, South Montgomery, parts of Bullitt counties. Because the snow is melting on the road surface as it hits, I do think there's a window here where before the snow evaporates, it could freeze. Now, eventually, evaporation is when we go from liquid to gas, right? When something evaporates, the water just goes into thin air. There's another process like that called sublimation, where it goes from ice to air. Like if you on a night like tonight when the air is very dry, if you're just a total fun guy and you want to have so much fun, if you were to take a small ice cube, like the Nugget ice from Sonic, you know what I'm talking about, the Chick-fil-A ice, the Sonic ice, if you were to take that and put it outside, it would not melt into a puddle. It would just disappear. It's actually pretty interesting. I ought to do a time lapse of that. That would be fun. But it would just disappear. It would sublimate. We call it evaporate when it goes from liquid to gas. When it goes from solid to gas, that's called sublimation. So that could happen. But I do think there's a window here before any of that takes place where we're probably going to have some isolated slick spots develop across, again, parts of South Montgomery, Pike, a narrow sliver of western Bullitt, west of Union Springs, those places. The other thing the thing that's going to happen here, this is getting lighter, right? So as it moves southeast, it's moving into an area with even less lift, less moisture, all of it. So this is going to get lighter with time. This will not be with us all day. But there, again, isolated slick spots. We'll just go ahead and give you the first alert here. Pike County, southern Montgomery County, parts of western Bullock. It's a narrow little corridor here, guys. And I'll post that on Facebook as a separate thing in case someone's not watching this video. But that's sort of where we are right now with this. You'll notice here at the Lowe's, the snow's actually lightening up a little. I need to get me a microwave up here. My coffee's getting cold. Just us talking. Champ, what are you doing? Champ is just licking the rug. He is a cute dog. I'm not sure he is a smart dog. I didn't say that, buddy. I love you too. Lucy, please take care of him. You got to have brains for both of y'all, okay? All right, so snowing in Pike. Most of the rest of you watching this going, Josh, what are you talking about, brother? It's not snowing in most spots now. This is radar. I'll switch back over to Maxwell so we see more things up into the central counties, but frankly, there's not a lot to see. You've got some snow showers in this little corridor here. You've got a few snow flurries, Coosa back down into Elmore, and that's it. Snow flurries into parts of Barber and Russell, inconsequential. The only place where I think we could have spotty ice is Pike County, far south Montgomery County. That does not include the city of Montgomery, and parts of western Bullock. That's really it. In terms of where could ice form on roads. And I do think even there it's going to be very spotty in nature. But still, I do want to give you the first alert here. Isolated slick spots could develop with some of this happening in Pike County. We'll go camera surfing. Again, this is the Algo camera network. Head back into the center of Troy. Notice the snow is mostly stopped in downtown Troy. Now, that said, there's another band behind this. It will pick up again in Troy, but the heaviest of it is probably over for now. You'll get another little burst of snow, but it will be mostly light snow in about another 15 or 20 minutes. So a lot of what we're talking about is Troy-centric, just because that's where the snow is happening. We also do have some snow here, though, into parts of Bullock County. Check it out. You see it there. A little snow shower on the west side of Union Springs. Hector, Shopton, Fitzpatrick. If you live there, post some photos for me in the comments of this. I'd love to see what's happening there. On radar, this is actually one of the heavier snow showers we've seen in the southern half of the state today, is there. So we'll show you what it looks like in Troy now. This is the view at the ASC Credit Union camera network. Notice the grass has turned that slushy shade of frosty gray. Looking out over campus, this is the view from John Robert Lewis Hall, looking back out over the quad down below. Got the Trojan statue there. Bitterly cold day. Temperatures are in the upper 20s and low 30s. Wind chills are down in the single digits right now. So no sugarcoating it. It's a brutally cold day for the southern sections of the state. Now, in terms of the Troy snow, it is lightening up a little. There's another little batch of flurries that'll come through between now and 9:30, and then after that, you'll see a flake or two, and that'll be about the extent of it. Now, for most of the rest of you, this is all already over. Montgomery Whitewater, it's windy, cloudy, and cold. Again, that's the ASC Credit Union camera network out at Montgomery Whitewater, out on the city of Montgomery's west side. You can access all of these, by the way, at WSFA.com. You can get it. I mean, it's a full HD feed. We put it there, live motion and everything. So, I mean, you can sit there and watch it. But this is the view in Selma. You'll notice we have a few flurries there. It's lighter there. Notice nothing is stuck at all. That's 95% of our area. It looks like this. You've seen some snow flying today, but it's not sticking much. It's not enough to stick. It's just sort of a interesting little novelty item here. So where we have seen the majority of the snow that's fallen kind of harder has been in Troy. This is US 231 at Walter Street in downtown Troy. And you notice the kind of the shades of the grass there, kind of that grayish white color. Here is Industrial Park Drive in Troy. Same thing. Yeah, look. Kind of that dusting phenomenon. The roads look okay at this point. The snow is melting on the roads. Now it's sort of a race against time. We need that melted snow water to evaporate before it freezes. And the thing that helps us here is the wind. I know the wind is terrible. It feels awful, but it will help us on a day like today to clear the moisture off the roads fairly quickly. But I still do want to mention, again, my advice for other meteorologists who cover snow in the Southeast, you are 15 minutes away from the biggest surprise of your career, every single one of these things. And I try to proactively prevent that. So let's mention the possibility of isolated slick spots in Pike, South Montgomery, western Bullock counties. That's it. If you live in the city of Montgomery, no slick spots. Auburn, Tuskegee, no slick spots. Lounsboro, Prattville, Selma, Montgomery, Millbrook, Alex City, no slick spots. But if you live in the far southern sections of Montgomery County, down close to Highland Home in Crenshaw, and then Pike County and western Bullock west of Union Springs, there is the potential for some isolated icy spots today. And I would recommend you probably, if you don't have to travel, don't. if you do have to travel and you're out and you see something that looks wet on the roads, just assume it's ice, slow down, don't make any sudden movements, don't slam on your brakes, just let your foot off the gas and coast over it. That's the trick to this whole thing. So that's where we stand as of this 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'm Josh Johnson. You're watching live weather coverage on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, do me a favor, head over to YouTube. My YouTube channel is Josh Johnson Weather, and subscribe. I post all sorts of content there. I don't spam you, I promise. I don't post hype videos. It's just weather. That's what I like. It's just weather. There's no politics, no anything, none of that. It's just weather. It's just fun. We do a lot of YouTube live updates as well. So that's the view. Again, US 231 at Industrial Park Drive. You can see the snow lightening up. Now, that next batch is coming into the north end of Troy now. So I'm going to go back to the US 231 camera up near the Motel 6 as I take a drink of coffee. It's been a busy few weeks around here. If I look like I'm 65, it's because we've had a bunch of weather on the weekends lately, whether it be the southeast Alabama snow a couple of weeks ago, the severe weather last weekend, and now this. But I actually enjoy this. And I'll tell you this, too. This streaming thing, that we're doing right now, you and me, I like this format is much more fun than what we do on TV, where we're in a suit and tie and we have 3 minutes to talk to you about this crazy weather system that's going to bring bitterly cold air in the day, even colder air at night, wind chills into single digits, possibility of light snow. Then you want to know what's going to happen the next 10 days. And I got 3.5 minutes to tell you all that. This is a lot more kind of my pace because we can just sort of talk about the weather as we see it, right? And just sort of walk you through it, which I really enjoy. So let's pop back to radar here. You'll notice that next band is coming into Troy. Now, I'll stop the animation. It's right up here. It's on the north end of Troy. It's moving pretty steadily towards the southeast. So if you live in Troy, another little batch of snow showers is coming through. This one will not be as heavy as the last one, but I do think you'll notice it, right? The snow will pick up a little bit there in Troy. Then we have additional snow showers out near Banks, Josie, and Sandfield in the northern part of the county, up along Highway 29, Highway 223, back into Bullitt County. Some snow there as well, west of downtown Union Springs. That's a pretty good little snow shower out here. See that? That's, again, west of Union Springs, snowing pretty hard there. That's really about it in terms of snow where it's falling hard. The rest of us are seeing light, inconsequential snow flurries, which means you can see them with your eyes, and that's about it. They don't fall, they don't stick, they don't lay on the ground, they don't cause icy spots, they don't do any of that, but they are out there anyway. We'll pop around here. Let's go back. This is US 231 at Lynn Coach. Same sort of thing here. Pop that up. Here we go. It's kind of a light dusting, I think is how you would categorize this. The road surface as of this moment is simply wet. That will freeze if it stays out there long enough, though. The temperature today goes nowhere. We will stay below freezing pretty much area-wide. The thing that's helping us here, the pavement temperature is still above freezing. So as the snow fell, it's melting. But the problem is the air temperature is below freezing. So if that moisture stays on the road surface long enough, it will eventually freeze. Eventually, the cold air is cooling down that pavement. It just takes time. Pavement holds in heat very effectively. So it takes time. Yesterday we had sun. We were in the 50s. Some of that residual warmth is still inside that asphalt. The air will eventually cool it down, but that takes time. Remember and some of you still use them, right? We still use these on occasion, but remember when we were kids, those of us of a certain age, and a lot of refrigerators back in those days did not have ice makers. At least ours didn't. So you had to take the tray and fill it full of water and put it in the freezer. The air temperature inside a freezer is close to 0. Those trays full of water do not instantly freeze. It takes time. It's the same exact concept for this pavement situation. Think of that as the tray full of water. It got warm yesterday. The air will eventually freeze any moisture on those roads, but for now, it's warm enough to where it's melting them. But I do want to give you a first alert. If you're driving in Pike, South Montgomery, Western Bullock, later today or tonight, and you see something that looks like water, say after 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock this morning, assume it's ice. Most of this evaporates off the road before it has a chance to freeze. But my concern would be areas that are in the shade and that are protected from the wind. So kind of these little valley type dips in the road. And look, every road has some of those, right? But if you have the exact one in the wrong spot, that's where you could deal with one or two icy spots. This will not be anything widespread. Again, if you live anywhere outside of Pike, far south Montgomery County, western Bullitt County, this doesn't apply to you. It hasn't snowed near enough for problems on that. Snow is back in full force on Murphy Street in Troy, light flurries in Holtville. How do you know slick spots on the road? If it looks wet, just assume it's a slick spot. Southwest side of Troy, my yard's not great anymore, full of white. Post pictures. We want to see this. So yeah, the snow's beginning to pick back up here. Let's pop back over to Murphy Street in downtown Troy. Again, these are the Algo cameras. And yeah, it is beginning to snow a little bit there. You see that? I think it actually may have been snowing a little harder at the other camera location. That next pop of snow is right over Troy right now. So these are snow showers. This is very similar, in the summertime when you get a downpour and your neighbor gets nothing. These are like that. This is the winter version of that. And that's what we're dealing with right now is, some of these camera spots, you're right underneath a heavy snow shower. The other ones are not. But the radar really tells the story pretty well. Questions? Any wind advisories? Yes, the entire area is under a wind advisory today, and we tried to beat that drum pretty hard that this is the type of scenario where you could have power outages due solely to the wind. The wind will be really whipping throughout the day today, and that's something we're going to have to watch. In fact, I'm going to search for that, see if we have any power outages right now in the state. We have 1,790 Alabama customers without power. Most of those are in Jefferson, Covington, St. Clair, Dallas, Mobile, Monroe counties. So a little under 2,000 power outages right now. And again, I don't have any way of knowing if those are weather related or not. My suspicion is there are some wind related power outages occurring right now. And if there's not, there will be. The strongest wind is actually still ahead of us as that big low pressure bombs off the Carolina coast. That's going to increase the pressure gradient across Alabama, which will jack the wind up even higher. It's already very windy, but it will get windier as the day unfolds. Let me show you radar here again. Thanks for the comments. Those are great. Here's what it all looks like. You've got a heavy snow band on the south and west end of Union Springs. Then you've got kind of a moderate snow band over Troy Banks back towards Goshen. The original heavier one back near Brundage, weakening a little, and then this up into South Montgomery County, some light snow there. For the southern stuff, we probably ought to go over to the Rucker radar. That may be a little better look in. But yeah, it's weakening as it moves south, and that's not unusual. That's not unexpected, right? We know that we are running out of lift and moisture the farther south you go, and that's the case here, right? But there you see those snow showers into Bullock, Barber, Pike, and now northern Dale County into the Ayrton area. We are now tracking a little bit of light snow coming into Ayrton. So I'm going to work on the side here. Pull this over here. Do it on this screen, and I'll show you what it looks like. This is again in Troy. This is the US 231 at the Motel 6 camera. I want to go back down to Lowe's. The roads for now are just wet, but in places where the wind can't evaporate the water off the road in time, this will turn to ice. That will be very spotty in nature, right? That's not going to be everyone. But there will be some spots where that does in fact happen. So Ayrton, let's see, 6554. What I'm doing, I'm going to attempt to pull up our sister station in Dothan has a camera down there in Ozark. So I'm going to try to fire that thing up. See if I have any luck there. It's a different sort of system for that. And actually, we have a great working relationship with WTVY, so we can pretty well access their cameras through kind of the direct feed there. But again, this is Pike County. You're watching it snow. I'm Josh Johnson. We're streaming now all over the place. Yeah, there we go. This is the view down in Ozark. Ozark, Alabama. That's in Dale County. And yeah, we see a few flurries flying there. The view here is from the Dale County Courthouse in Ozark, and we thank our partners at WTVY, Channel 4 in Dothan, for allowing us to use that camera. It's a good-looking shot. You can see a few of those snow flurries flying. The Troy camera is really beginning to pick back up there. Let me pop you back to Troy. This is the view looking out over U.S. Highway 231. This is near the Walmart and the Lowe's there in Troy. So this would be on the south, just south of downtown, before you get to Sisters Restaurant. So this is between downtown and Sisters. The camera here is looking back across US 231. So just a tick south of downtown Troy. The tornado that hit a few years back, actually maybe a year ago, actually moved right through here. So this is our Troy camera down in Pike County that you're looking at there live. Here is radar coming to you out of the Fort Rucker radar. The next little batch of snow coming into Troy now. Notice up into Bullitt County too. Good snow falling here, right around Union Springs. And then south of Union Springs, Aberfoyle, Inverness, Perote, Bread Tray Hill, some of those communities south of Union Springs and Bullitt County. You're now getting kind of that next little band of light to moderate snow. Back into Pike, northern Dale County, and parts of Barber County, getting it as well. We'll switch over to the Maxwell radar and show you what's happening in the central sections of the state. The quick answer here is not much. A few snow flurries and flakes north of Montgomery out along Wares Ferry Road in the city of Montgomery. Then a few more up around Slapout, Titus, and Weoka in northern Elmore County back into Coosa. Pentonville, Speed, Rockford, some snow flurries there. A few additional flurries out near Deatsville and Pine Level. These are not falling and sticking in any way, though. And then back into Lee County, nothing going on there. Chambers, you're good. Tallapoosa, some light flurries up in the northernmost sections of Tallapoosa County. Union, Newside, Goldville, Daviston, Horseshoe Bend, north end of Alex City, Jackson's Gap, that area getting a few light flurries. Lake Martin getting a few light flurries. They're inconsequential. The more significant deal would be back over here, these snow showers coming across South Montgomery County into parts of Pike, parts of Bullitt, parts of Barber. So that's where it is snowing in a more consequential way, and that's where I do think there is some window here. So it's a race against time now. The snow is falling; it will soon quit in Troy. You'll have on and off flurries through the day, but the stuff that matters will soon die down. It's melted as it fell because the pavement was warm from yesterday. But that's a race against time scenario now, where the wind will help us evaporate that water off the road. But the air is below freezing, so if the water stays on the road long enough, it will freeze. My suspicion is 95% of it will evaporate before it freezes. But in protected areas where the wind can't really get to, so kind of these valley bottoms, these little hollers, if you will, that's where I think we could deal with one or two icy spots that crop up. So that's the lay of the land. And the most likely place for that, and really the only place I'm concerned about that happening, South Montgomery County, south of Raymer, Pike County, southern and western Bullitt County. That's really about it. Yeah, South Montgomery, Pike, western and southern Bullock. I'll draw it on a map. So in my opinion, if you live, say, anywhere in that little corridor right there, that's the part of the state where I suspect there could be one or two icy spots develop. So again, southern and western Bullock, South Montgomery County, all of Pike County, and perhaps far western Barber. I'm not talking Eufaula. I'm talking Libertyville, Texasville, Louisville, all the Villes, Clio, Blue Springs, the Highway 51, really Highway 51 and points west. So Clayton to Louisville to Clio and west from there. That's the part of Barber County where I do suspect there could be one or two little icy spots to develop. Mainly, again, those low-lying areas, some of the bridges, they'll freeze first. For a lot of this, the water will evaporate before it has the chance to freeze. Remember, the air temperature is below freezing, but the pavement is not just yet. So that's what we're looking at there. Let me take you back to Ozark now. This is the view there. This is from the Dale County Courthouse, courtesy of our good friends in WTVY. You'll notice a few snow flurries are flying at this hour in Dale County. It is not a heavy consequential snow. It's not sticking. It's nothing like that. But there are some pockets there where you're seeing some light snow anyway there into Dale County. Let me take you back now live to Troy. Lots of people on the roads. That's the view from George Wallace Drive in Troy. And it is snowing. The roads are wet, but we need to watch those bridges and overpasses to see about, those would be the ones where the pavement will reach 32 fastest there. Remember, it's a race against time. We are trying to get the moisture to evaporate off the road's surface before it has a chance to freeze. The reason it's not freezing immediately is the pavement has some leftover warmth from yesterday. So that race against time, the pavement will get to 32 fastest, bridges and overpasses, because the air can get underneath the pavement and we're cooling it from the top and the bottom. On your surface streets, the air is only cooling the asphalt from above. The air can't get underneath those because it's nothing but earth. The air temperature in Troy right now is 28 degrees, though. So those bridges and those overpasses, yeah, they will become problematic if we can't get this water to evaporate. The thing that helps us most is the wind. The wind will help evaporate a lot of that out of here. So I'm going to work on a couple of other different things here while we get our stream on and take a sip of my long cold coffee. That's the only thing missing from my setup up here. I really do need like a microwave. In case you're wondering what the old setup looks like, I'll show you. There you go. That is, I got the iPad here with radar. I got the rapidly cooling down coffee there. Got my computer set up here with the ring light. The camera's actually a phone. And by the way, this is actually an upstairs office area that doubles as a workout room and then a teenage daughter hangout area with the TV and the hot pink beanbag over there. Believe it or not, that is not my hot pink beanbag, just for the record. So there you are. The reason we're hanging out with you today, though, has nothing to do with any of that. It has everything to do with the fact that we're seeing a little bit of light snow falling this morning, mainly in the area I've circled here on the radar. We've been streaming now for almost an hour, so I appreciate everyone that's hanging out with us. This is Troy at George Wallace Drive. Right now the roads are just wet, but if we don't get the moisture off of them fast enough, they will eventually freeze up, which obviously would not be a super great scenario. So we don't want that to happen. So far, so good, but it's a race against time now, and to try to evaporate the moisture off the road surface before it has a chance to freeze. Let me take you back to Troy, show you that camera. This is the view of Splashtop Business, which is going to probably want to stay there the entire time. Splashtop is how we access our computers from work, and it's really good, but it is also pretty annoying. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I don't need to know. You can just give me updates. So our vantage point here, back to Troy. Then what I'm working on kind of behind the scenes here is I want to show you guys a different computer I'm working on than what Splashtop wants to show me. Why is that? Splashtop, why are you misbehaving? Don't misbehave. The snow is beginning to lighten up in Troy. There's another little batch in South Montgomery County that may clip Troy a little bit later on, but so far so good with that too. It's light. It's not going to be terribly consequential. Here's a look at radar. The area that I've circled there, South Montgomery County, southern and western Bullitt County, Pike County, and western Barber County, that's where we are seeing some snow that is a little more put together, if you want to call it that. It's a little more put together. And that's where I think there's a little bit greater potential here for the risk of some very, very isolated icy pockets to get going. And let's do this. This is going to be fun. I haven't done this yet. This is our Barron's system. You know, Barron's the best weather technology in the world. And we are so fortunate to have it at WSFA 12 News. And the reason we have it is a partnership with the Vance Law Firm. So I actually just did a little video. We're updating our web story about the Vance Law Firm Storm Track Zone, and now in its 9th year. And I remember vividly being part of the team that presented that to Mr. Vance, and the look on his face when we went over what all this technology could do. It was just, he almost immediately was like, wow, this is amazing. Let's do it. So he jumped in there, and that's the reason that we, and by virtue of us having it, you have it, some of the best weather tracking technology in the world. And what I want to look at here, this Barron technology has road temperatures baked into it here. Isn't that cool? So let me take you into Pike County now, where it has been snowing. In the northwestern corner, 36. Troy, the pavement temperature is 37. Brundage is 39. Goshen, it's 39. Again, these are not air temperatures that you're seeing here. This is the pavement temperature. To find pavement temperatures below freezing, you have to go pretty far back to the northwest. Check this out. I'll move you around here. If you're looking for places where the pavement is below freezing, it's the dark blue. Northern Autauga, northern Dallas, Perry, Marengo, northern Wilcox. Notice the lighter shade of blue here, the pavement temperature is still above freezing. So the freezing line is the transition to dark blue on this map. And I'll just draw it here with a red line, but that's essentially going to be your freezing line in terms of the pavement temperature, not the air. Remember, these are the banner up there at the top of the screen says road temperatures. This is the temperature of the pavement. And that's why the snow is melting in Troy, because it's hitting a really warm road, relatively speaking, right? The pavement temperature in Troy is in the mid to upper 30s, 37. So because that pavement temperature is so high, this is melting. Now, the part of this that's a race against time is cold air is over the entire state right now and is dropping these road temperatures. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to clear off the telestration, and then I'm going to animate this. So this shows you over the course of the last couple of hours what those road temperatures are doing. And in fact, look at this. Because the sun is out, and in some places the road temperature has actually gone up a couple of degrees. Now, that has nothing to, the air temperature is actually going the other direction. But remember, this Barron technology is as good as it gets. The sun's energy can warm the road surface even when it's really cold outside. So if we have any refreezing issues with ice, looking at this data, I would suspect that would most likely happen very late today. That's good news. It's a great thing this is happening in the daytime. If this was all happening at night, I think we would have almost immediately had ice problems. But we'll keep an eye on this data, by the way, these road temperatures that we're tracking for you here live. The air temperature, in case you're wondering, is an entirely different story, and unfortunately, not in a good way. Check this out. Selma, 26. Linden, 23. Camden, 25. Montgomery, 27. I mean, it is bitterly cold area-wide. And the really crazy thing is when you go and look at what it actually feels like, when you account for the effect of the wind chills have been in the teens and low 20s all day today, and that's where they're going to stay, mostly teens. It is very, very windy outside. I'll pop that up on the map here. Check it out. Yeah, these are sustained winds, by the way. These are not the gusts, but sustained winds in the kind of 15 to 25 mile per hour range, with gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. 40 miles per hour, by the way, consistent with a tropical storm. So this is that kind of deal. In terms of power outages, I've mentioned that a few times that there could potentially be enough wind to generate some scattered power outages. Now, let me say up front, I have no idea if these are the numbers you see here: 100 in Dallas, 300 in Covington, looks like 200 in Mobile County, and then some up in Jefferson County. No idea if these are weather related, right? These could be maintenance. There's a lot of different things that can happen here. So far, so good. But let me caution you: the wind will actually increase into the afternoon, so the risk of power outages, I suspect, will actually go the wrong direction. It will go up, not down, a little bit later on today. So that's where we are with that. Interestingly, check this out. Look at this. This is back in that area hit by the ice storm last weekend. See this? Nashville, back through here. All of these outages are from last weekend's ice storm. They still have a tremendous number of power outages up here. Some of these counties in Mississippi, 10,000 people. Monroe, Louisiana, 16,000 people. You have thousands of people still in the dark, still with no electrical service across Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana. That's from the last winter storm, not the thing we're dealing with right now. Speaking of the thing we're dealing with right now, let me show you this. This is national radar. Look at what's happening up here. This is a major winter storm for the Smoky Mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains, east side of Atlanta. It is snowing to beat the band now along I-20. East of Atlanta, I-85, northeast of Atlanta, Athens, Georgia, Hiawassee, Georgia, Anderson, Clemson, Greenville, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, snowing really hard there now as well. So that's kind of the national, regional overview to this whole thing. For us here at home, we're tracking a few snow showers, and you can see them here, down into the southeastern sections of the state. See it there? The heaviest of it in Troy is actually piping down a little bit. Look at this. This is in Troy. The sun's actually popping back out. That's going to help us a ton, guys. That is great news. Man, that's awesome. That will really help. A, it will keep that pavement temperature from dropping. B, it will melt the snow. Here's a little fun fact for you that you may not realize. Snow can actually melt when the temperature is below 32. If the sun is out, some of the sun's radiation is being absorbed by the snowflake itself. So even if the air temperature, and remember, we measure air temperature 2 meters above the ground, so about 6 feet high. The temperature in the grass can actually go up a little warmer because the sun is out. So the reading can say, the air temperature reading can say 30, but if it's sunny outside, the snow can melt and will melt. And right now we see some sun here on this Troy camera that we've been watching. So that's not bad news at all. There's radar scope again. A little heavier snow band though. This is crazy to watch because as soon as the snow stops, the sun comes out. That helps us immensely, and that will help with some melting. But we actually have an additional snow band coming into the north side of Troy momentarily. We'll take you back up there now live. This is US 231 on the north side of Troy. The vantage point here showing you US Highway 231, and sure enough, there's a little snow falling there as well. So snow has melted in Troy. Oh, man, that coffee was a lot better when it was hot. That's what my next thing is. I got to get a microwave up here, I think. Worst wind, I think, will be afternoon and early evening. I see nothing in Montgomery. Yeah, that's right. The snow is basically wound down in Montgomery. You won't see, if you haven't seen it yet, you probably aren't going to. Flurries beginning now in northwest Dothan from Daniel Sparkman. My man, how we doing? If it's the same Daniel Sparkman, which my thing doesn't tell me your profile picture, by the way, it just shows your name. If it's the same guy, then Daniel was a producer at WSFA when I first started there. Way back when. Not that he's old, I'm old. But Daniel, if it's the same Daniel, I hope you're doing well. If it's a different Daniel, I still hope you're doing well. I just don't know you like that. But go get him, Tiger. Husband traveling from Dothan to Troy now. He sent me video of the snow. Tuskegee, not a big deal. Daniel confirms it is the same Daniel Sparkman. There you go. So, Daniel, hope you're, man, I haven't heard from you in so long. You need to come see me sometime. We need to go have lunch. The times, they are changing, right? So you were watching it snow now live in Troy. This is the view from US 231 out along near the Motel 6. Lots of wind and some snow. Here's our Baron box right here. Actually, let me take that full screen. So you've got light snow showers coming back into Troy now. Some more snow popping back in there. This is coming right down Troy Highway. Snowing now up at the airport, Meeksville, Orion, Lockheed Martin, the Pioneer Museum, places like that. It is moving rapidly to the southeast. And this is sort of the last band like that. So if you live in Pike County and you want to watch it snow, this band right here that's just now coming into the county, that's really going to be about your last best hope for seeing some of that snow. Let me show you what it looks like now in Troy. We've had some sunlight at times. This is our ASE Credit Union camera network. This is the Troy Public Radio camera. And you'll notice this, the snow has picked back up a little bit here. This view is from John Robert Lewis Hall. Notice, too, though, a little bit of melting. If you look on the screen here, on this side of the screen over here, there's some melting because the sun's popping out between snow showers. That helps us immensely, by the way. So that's what we're kind of watching this morning. Now, the next thing, and frankly, the big thing is the cold and the wind. We are projecting overnight lows tonight in the ballpark of 15 degrees. Wind chills will go into the single digits. You will need to take precautions to keep your pipes from bursting tonight. I've talked to a lot of plumbers, and look, you can get different answers from different plumbers. It's just like a meteorologist or any other thing. The consensus seems to be drip one faucet farthest from where the water enters your home, a steady trickle roughly the width of the lead inside of a pencil, a tiny bit of water. If you have problem areas, the north side of your house, if you have pipes in the exterior wall, if you have a bathroom on an exterior wall on the north side of your house, drip that faucet. Open up your sink cabinets as well. Let some of that warm air circulate around. For the outside spigots, you do not need to drip those. You can simply wrap or cover them in some way. It is snowing hard now in Troy. Look at this. The wind's kicked up, a wind-driven snow falling now on the campus of Troy University. You're looking live now at the ASE Credit Union camera network. The perspective here looks out over campus down below. That's a nice shot, isn't it? And it is snowing to beat the band, as my grandparents. I think all of them. I was trying to figure out which grandparents said that. I think they all said it. That must have been a saying back when. It is snowing to beat the band out there. I always wonder what band. And how is the snow beating these guys? Is it a music competition? Because how is a band losing to snow? We have questions. So I'll take that full screen. That's a good looking shot there. This is again the Troy Public Radio camera. You're looking out over campus, and a moderate snow is falling there on campus at Troy University. We have additional camera resources. This is the AlGo camera. This is up near the Motel 6 off US 231 on the north side of Troy, coming down at a good clip there. In fact, what I'll do here, we'll just kind of go picture in picture and put both Troy cameras on the screen so that you can see them both at the same time. That's a fun little stream, isn't it? So this is the view in Troy now, where we are tracking some snow coming into Troy yet again. This is kind of their third snow shower of the day. We'll pop the camera off quickly here and show you what it looks like on radar. There you see it there. It is moving into Troy right now. This is sort of the last of it, though. This last little snow shower that you see right here, as this thing comes on to the south here, eventually this is going to fade on away, right? For Troy, I think you've got another 10 minutes or so of moderate snow, and then this whole thing's going to wind down. So let's watch it while we can here via our Double Trouble cameras, the ASE Credit Union camera network in the big screen, AlGo in the bottom left, and both of them show kind of that light to moderate snow scenario there in the heart of Troy. So good looking perspectives here. We'll kind of stay with this for a minute. The other thing is the wind. It is extremely windy, not just in Troy, but everywhere. It's a very windy day, and it's going to stay that way. We'll go back to that camera. Looks like, there we go. Let's do this right here. We'll pop back up and probably wind this thing down. It's 9:35. So to summarize, most of you saw a few snow flurries this morning, and that's it. A couple of heavier snow showers have caused some wet roads in Pike, South Montgomery, Western Bullock, Southwestern Barber County. Hold on one second. This is cool. It is snowing really hard now on that Troy camera at Troy University. This is the ASC Credit Union Camera Network, where a little snow burst is moving overhead. I wanted to show it to you guys. Check that out. Yeah, that's some good snow right there. But to finish up the summary here, and what I'll do, we'll go back and make this. We'll go back to the picture-in-picture. Isolated icy spots could develop late today wherever any road surface doesn't totally evaporate the water, right? 99% of you, this isn't a problem. But if you live in South Montgomery County, Pike County, Western and Southern Bullock County, Western Barber County, you will need to, if you see any what looks like a wet spot later this afternoon or tonight, odds are good that that's a little slick spot. That's some ice. Otherwise, no problems. Anywhere else, no problems. But in those specific spots, it's something we've got to watch for, and you'll need to watch for. That's it. Everywhere else, you live anywhere else, you're driving anywhere else, I think the roads are just dry. And even in those counties, most of the roads will evaporate the water off before we have a chance to freeze them. But I have to mention at least some small chance of one or two little icy pockets in places where we're protected from the wind. And man, it is snowing hard there in Troy. That is a cool shot there. Again, that is the ASC Credit Union Camera Network coming to you live now from John Robert Lewis Hall in Troy, where it is snowing and snowing hard. This is a decent little snow burst we're seeing. Let me clear the camera names off the list there so you can watch it snow with me here. Ground turning wide in Troy, radar showing it too. This last little snow burst is moving through right now, obviously. It is not going to be with us for long. This will be a quick hitter, about 15 minutes worth of snow like this. But look at that, guys. Wow. I mean, that's the heaviest snow I think we've seen on that camera since last January. That is wild. I'm kind of transfixed by it. Aren't you? It's pretty fun to watch. Yeah, so that's snow heavy enough. You know, if you look up here, you can actually see visibility is limited to probably a quarter mile or so. You could make the argument that that's heavy snow. I think it's definitely moderate snow at minimum. So moderate to heavy snow now falling over Troy University. This vantage point, again, coming to us from John Robert Lewis Hall. And what we'll do here, we'll pop around to some of the other Troy cameras and kind of watch this little snow squall come through. Here is the view from George Wallace Drive in Troy. Notice the roads are just wet. We showed you this earlier. If you missed it, our Barron technology has the ability to display pavement temperature. In Pike County right now, the pavement temperature is around 35 to 40 degrees. So all of this is melting as it falls. Then it becomes a race against time. My suspicion is most of this will evaporate out before it has the chance to freeze. But some of the bridges, some of the areas where the wind and the air can't move around quite as freely, those could freeze up, especially around sunset tonight if the water doesn't evaporate fully off the roads. For 99% of you, there's no ice problems. I don't think we need to be closing down things, changing plans, or anything like that. I do think, though, if you're traveling in Pike County specifically, you may want to, if you see what looks like a wet spot late this afternoon or tonight, assume it is ice. Don't make any sudden movements. Don't slam on the brakes. Just lift your foot off the gas pedal gently, coast across it, and life goes on. You're good to go. So we'll kind of keep popping back and forth between Troy cameras here. Frankly, I think the one that we're showing you the most, that Troy Public Radio camera, our ASC Credit Union Camera Network, that's probably the best one. That's George Wallace Drive there in kind of downtown Troy. That's the ASC Credit Union Camera Network on the campus of Troy University. But we've got a lot of these, the access to a lot of these Algo cameras around the city of Troy. And I kind of consistently check in with those. Man, it is snowing hard in Troy now. That's beautiful. Here is another shot. This is a pretty good one. This was, again, an Algo camera Near mile marker 171 on US 231. This would be near the Days Inn. You can see the it's like a Walgreens and a Beals across the street there. The ground has turned kind of that white color. I'd say a heavy dusting. I don't think you can't stick a ruler in this and measure it, but I do think the ground is white, so I think you could count this as a dusting, maybe a quarter of an inch. The road surfaces are wet because the pavement is too warm for there to be significant accumulation on the road surface. The air is cold enough, but the pavement's warm from yesterday. That's a big deal. And frankly, if this had happened in the nighttime, we would have iced up these roads almost immediately. We got really lucky with that. So we are watching it snow together live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, I would love to invite you to my YouTube page. Yeah, go to YouTube, search Josh Johnson Weather, hit subscribe, and a lot of these live updates, some of these live updates I do only on YouTube. So if you're purely watching on Facebook, you may have missed some things. I also post pretty consistent YouTube shorts and then daily forecast videos as well. Again, that's youtube.com/Josh Johnson Weather. Hope to see you there. We have a lot of fun on the YouTube channel. And big burst of snow now in Troy. It is not sticking on the road surface at this point because of the pavement temperature. The pavement temperature around Pike County is in the upper 30s and low 40s now. And one thing that has really helped with that, the sun is actually poking its head out between these snow showers. Which asphalt absorbs that energy from the sun almost instantly. So that is helping us in a huge and mighty way to kind of thin out these any problem spots with ice. But the issue here is, especially later when the sun starts to decline and or shaded areas, right? This is assuming full sun. If you have a road that's in a shady area down at the bottom, a little valley, and it's a bridge, that could get slippery. So isolated, and I mean isolated, slick spots possible. Far south Montgomery County, Pike County, southwestern Bullitt, southwestern Barber. That's really it. If you don't live in a place I just named, you do not have to worry about icy roads. For the city of Montgomery, there's no concern for icy roads. Prattville, Millbrook, Pike Road, Alex City, Auburn, Opelika, Tuskegee, Selma, Demopolis, Camden, Millers Ferry, Marion, Uniontown, no concern for icy roads. Andalusia, Opp, Laverne, no concern for icy roads. And even in Troy and the places where it snowed a little more, it's a long shot. You don't need to cancel your plans. You just need to have some awareness as you drive in this that you could be running into some slick spots. All right. Coosa County has flurries. The snow is melting in Brundage. Mavis says Troy PD is reporting that some of the bridges are icing over. I buy that. I think, again, if we're going to have icy problem spots, it will be a bridge or an overpass, specifically any bridge or overpass where direct sun can't get to it. For most of us, it's melting, but the bridges and overpasses do freeze first. So, Shelley says emergency vehicles heading towards 231 from Murphy Street. We haven't heard of any accidents or anything, but we'll keep an eye and ear to the ground there. And here's that intersection, Murphy Street and US 231. A lot of the snow a lot of this is melted on the pavement. The grass is doing all right. It's still kind of gray there, but a lot of it is melted on the pavement. Surface temperatures, air temperatures are cold enough. The issue is the pavement, right? Pavement's pretty warm. So there's that last little burst of snow really coming down on the north end of Troy now. That would be up Highway 29 back towards Banks. Anywhere, if you live between Troy and Banks. My friend Mike Jordan, I bet it's going to snow pretty good at his house. If you know Mike, if you're his neighbor, look out. You may get a little quick burst of snow here. Nothing crazy, but just enough to know that there's some fun going on today, I guess, right? I want to take you back to that ASC Credit Union shot in Troy. You can see even here that the snow is still falling. The camera may have temporarily hiccuped here. It's not falling as hard as it was. in that part of Troy. So there is a little light snow falling there in Troy, but not much. The worst of it, the heaviest of it now is a little west of downtown. It actually shows up really well on the radar here. Check that out. You can see if you look carefully at the screen there, that's downtown Troy right there. The heaviest snow is up here. This is all moving towards the southeast though, so this will get down into the general area of Brundage within the next 30 minutes or so. Then back to the north. This is really about it. Once this clears Troy, that's really about it as far as like snow that could fall and stick. There will be some leftover sort of flurries in the mix, but the big story then becomes the change to colder weather. We'll pop you back to the ASC Credit Union camera network. The shot here looking out over Troy University on a cold and snowy morning. Light snow falling in Troy. Now, the heaviest of it is a little northwest of town, so I'm going to try to see if we have any cameras in that area. A lot of these are Algo cameras. Those are courtesy of the Alabama Department of Transportation. And they do a really great job with their camera network. They have a lot of them. Doing some zooming and looking and all that sort of thing. This is actually a cool website. Let me show you this. This is the Algo website. It's algotraffic.com/map. And what they do, they overlay accident reports with radar and weather alerts. So it's actually, on a day like today, it's actually super useful. You can see the light snow down here. We don't have any accident reports. We have some along the interstate in, looks like Elmore, Otaga, Montgomery counties, but I doubt that's weather related. Maps out the rest areas, the construction zones. Look at all this snow up here. Whew, man. Somebody up here is going to get a foot of snow out of this. This is going to be just a massive storm for them. For us in Alabama, it's going to be a lighter scenario, obviously. For most of us, it's a nothing burger. I think some of the ridge tops up here in northeast Alabama could turn white. In fact, let's look. You want to? I think we've tracked the snow pretty well in the rest of the state. I wanted to see if we could get up into DeKalb or Jackson County. It looks like they don't have any cameras up there. If we search I-59, I wonder how far up we can get. Roebuck Parkway is the last one on I-59. Man, that's sad. Poor I-59. We need more cameras on you, man. So we'll switch back over to the Troy camera. Hey, pups, what y'all doing? That's good doggies. That's right. Very sweet. Sorry, Josh Johnson here. We're tracking what's left of some light snow showers. It's beginning to lighten up. This is the view at Troy University and our ASC Credit Union camera network. You're looking live there now from John Robert Lewis Hall on a wintry cold morning. The saving grace in this, road temperatures in Pike County are in the upper 30s and low 40s. That it means that the snow is melting as it hits the road surface. The air temperature is colder than that, though, so eventually we'll have some issues with icy spots in places where the water doesn't evaporate. This is the classic race against time. Snow falls, hits warm pavement, it melts. Now you've got water on the roads. The air is below freezing, the pavement is not. Eventually, the air will cool the pavement down below freezing, and anything that's left on it will freeze. We're not there yet, and I don't think we will be for another several hours. That means that most of this will evaporate off. But the bridges and overpasses are different because as the cold air is attempting to lower the temperature of the pavement, for a bridge and an overpass, that cold air is cooling it from above and below because the flow of air, right, the wind goes under bridges, the wind goes under overpasses. That's double the amount of cooling, right? Physics professors, don't come at me. I'm just making a point here. It's much more effectively cooled because the cold air gets above it and underneath it. So the bridges and overpasses are where that race against time will be lost. In a few isolated pockets, I think we could see bridge icing. Those isolated pockets are most likely to develop in far south Montgomery County. That does not include the city of Montgomery. Western and southern Bullock, Pike County, southwestern Barber County. even there, it will be very spotty. Most of the roads will be wet and then they'll be dry. But one or two problem areas with bridges or overpasses are possible. And if this sounds familiar, this is what we've been saying to you essentially all along with this whole thing. That was how this is going to go. Now we're just able to pinpoint where it is. That was the trick and has been the trick this whole time. Look at these air temperatures, guys. I mean, it is 9:50 in the morning. It's almost 10 a.m., and we're below freezing essentially everywhere in the state, minus the far southern sections. And most of us in the central sections and southwest sections are still below 30 degrees. And our dirty little secret is a lot of us won't even get to 30 today. I think we predicted a high of 29 at Montgomery Regional Airport, and unfortunately, I think that'll be about how this plays out. All right, I'm going to wind this thing down because I got a lot to do. We've got a little road trip to Huntsville we're taking today. No, the roads there will be just fine, so we'll be good. It'll be a cold drive north, though. I'll be posting updates from the passenger side of the vehicle on the way up, if possible. If not, we'll see what we can do. I'll keep you posted, I promise. This whole thing, the snow part of this is winding down. Even in Pike and Barber and Bullock, the snow will get progressively lighter over the next 45 minutes, and by 11 o'clock, it's all out of here. You might see a random flake or two, but it's nothing dangerous. It's nothing impactful. And that's the case everywhere, really. Even down in the southern sections, we will watch for isolated bridge icing. If you hear of anything, let me know. You're our eyes and ears on this. Again, I can show you pavement temperatures, but those are computer model estimates. Those are computer estimates, right? If you hear of a bridge that's icing, if you hear of one of those isolated slick spots where everything went wrong and the ice is formed, let me know. I'll pass it along, and we'll get that out to the masses. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching this 1 hour and 26-minute live stream. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. Stay warm. You'll want to drip a faucet starting now-ish, but most certainly before you head to bed tonight. On the dripping thing, let me save you some water bill money. If you're using water in your home throughout the day, you probably don't have to drip. Unless you've got a pipe that has frozen before, then I would drip the one closest to that. But when you go to bed tonight, most certainly, and frankly, I would do it at sunset. Let's do that. Let's say that. If you're not using a lot of water during the daytime today, go ahead and start dripping. If you are using water pretty regularly throughout the day, start dripping when the sun goes down this evening and do it through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. A single faucet, a steady drip of water, roughly the width of the lead inside of a pencil. I mix hot and cold, but I've asked a bunch of different plumbers and gotten a bunch of different answers on that. I'm just telling you what I do. That seems to be the consensus. If you're a really smart plumber, comment and tell me that I'm doing it wrong, and I'll start doing it smarter, I promise. So keep your pets indoors, even in the daytime today. These two knuckleheads that have helped me today. I just go out there with them and then come back in. Yes, you can let them outside to go use the bathroom. No, you don't need to leave them out there long. Bring any plants indoors. Wrap or cover those exterior spigots as well. And wait on warmer weather. The good news is we go back above freezing tomorrow, and that's when life will get warmer. Most of next week looks warmer. And then a rain chance evolves around next Wednesday, Thursday. And yes, it will be warm enough for only rain with that system.